Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi have finally spoken. The much-anticipated phone call has just happened today. They spoke last in November, right after Trump won the election. That phone call was customary. Prime Minister Modi had just called Trump to congratulate him. Any major policy discussion was unlikely at that point, because Trump was yet to take office, which is what makes this phone call so significant. We are still waiting to hear the specifics, but it would be safe to say that immigration figured in the discussion because that is what Donald Trump has been focused on: illegal immigration. It's his top agenda item as president. He launched a crackdown on day one in office. Raids are underway across the United States now, and Donald Trump is picking fights with other countries. Over the weekend, he clashed with Colombia, one of the largest countries in South America, also a key economic and security partner of the United States. Trump deported Colombian migrants, those who went to the US illegally. He deported them. Colombia refused to take them back. So Trump went after Colombia publicly. He threatened Bogota with tariffs and visa sanctions, and the threat worked. In less than a day, Colombia fell in line. It agreed to take back the immigrants. Let's tell you how the drama unfolded. Yesterday, the US dispatched 2 military planes for Bogota, which is the capital of Colombia. 2 military planes from America went there. These were deportation flights carrying illegal migrants from Colombia. It's not clear whether Colombia knew about these flights or if the Americans had informed them in advance. But when these planes approached the Colombian capital and sought permission to land at an airport, they were denied. So the planes had to turn back. Why did Colombia not allow these planes to land? Colombia said it wanted the migrants returned with dignity and respect, and for them to not be treated like criminals. That was the demand from Bogota, a demand that Donald Trump rejected. A few hours later, he released a statement on Truth Social, which is Trump's own social media platform. And he announced, quote unquote, urgent and decisive retaliatory measures. These were sweeping in nature, these measures. I have the list with me. This is what Donald Trump decided. Broadly, he announced 4 retaliatory measures. Number 1, tariffs. Trump slapped 25% tariffs on Colombian imports. In fact, he threatened to raise this to 50% if Colombia did not fall in line within 7 days. Number 2, travel bans. Trump banned Colombian government officials from entering the US. This ban applied to their allies and supporters as well. Number 3, visa sanctions. These were meant to target members of Colombia's ruling party, also their supporters and family members. Trump revoked their visas. And the 4th measure was customs restrictions for Colombian goods and people, for them to face tough custom inspections at the border. These are the measures that Trump announced. Basically, he just stopped short of cutting diplomatic ties with Colombia. Had he implemented this plan, the relationship would have been effectively dead. And that would have been a big blow for Colombia. After all, the US is their biggest trading partner. In 2022, trade between the two countries exceeded $50 billion. Colombia exported goods worth over $16 billion to the United States. Crude, coffee and flowers made up the bulk of this export. And this is what Trump decided to go after. He also sparred with the Colombian president. That's Gustavo Petro. Trump called Petro a socialist and a leader who's, quote unquote, very unpopular. And how did Petro respond? Initially, he tried to fight back. He announced retaliatory tariffs, a 25% tax on US imports. And he also shot back at Trump. Let me quote from what Petro said. You don't like freedom? You don't like our freedom? Fine. I do not shake hands with white enslavers. But a few hours later, Gustavo Petro clamped down. Colombia announced that the impasse is over.
El gobierno de Colombia informa.
Colombia's government informs it has gotten over its impasse with the government of the United States. In this context, Colombian Foreign Minister Luis Gilberto Murillo and Ambassador Daniel Garcia Pena will travel in the coming days to Washington, D.C. to have high-level meetings that follow up on the agreements resulting from the joint work that led to the exchange of diplomatic notes between the two governments.
But Trump is not dialing back on the pressure. He wants to see tangible action from Bogota. That means allowing the deportation flights to land. Until that happens, Donald Trump will not lift the visa restrictions or stop the custom inspections. This is what the White House said last night. Colombia says the migrant flights have now resumed. So Trump is expected to scale back his pressure campaign. And this face-off is also a message to the entire world. Donald Trump won't go easy on illegal immigration. He is willing to use the full power of his office and the US government against America's partners overseas. Trump wanted to make an example out of Colombia, and he has succeeded. Other countries are on notice. US agencies have launched a nationwide crackdown. Nearly 1,000 people have been detained. They're believed to be illegal immigrants. Trump has given sweeping powers to immigration officers. They're not even sparing schools and places of worship. Reports say churches and gurdwaras in the US have been raided. This has sparked outrage in local communities and protests from America's partners. Brazil is one of them. It received some migrants from the United States. Brazil says they were sent in handcuffs. In some cases, their hands and feet were tied.
A lot of lack of respect, a lot of irrationality, a lot of racism, a lot of aggression, a lot of people feeling sick, fainting, short of breath.
They wouldn't give us water. It was difficult to get food. It was very hot with children inside the aircraft. We asked to go to the bathroom, and they wouldn't let us. We got up and said, "I need to go to the bathroom. Bathroom, please." And they just pushed us, sit down. And we felt very oppressed by that.
Trump is not likely to pay heed to any of that. He confronted Colombia and emerged victorious. His war on illegal immigrants has only just begun. We're calling the show Vantage. We hope you like what we put together for you. Touted as the minimum defense from that video. India's neighbors were the first to send this special edition of Vantage live from the White House throughout this week. Yes, Hindu Mandir we're on our way to Tel Aviv. Pretty measure, but it's also the perfect way to drive.
I don't think that
Prime Minister of Bhutan, Sherin Tagwe. Welcome to
60% of the world's
office. Prime Minister Modi did the iron.
we were actually
How are you doing? How do you like? It's been 1 year since that meeting. Iron bars separate you from the outside. Out the vote effort. Trump had, it says, and at $4.3 trillion. 4.3 300 billion by 2030. That's what we need to tackle climate change.